Welcome back to Crochet with Casey. I'm Casey. I am so freaking excited. So normally Fridays is my tutorial days, but everybody on Instagram was really wanting this video and I skipped the last few Tuesdays, so here it is. How I charge for my crochet items. So we're gonna break it down today on how I personally do it. I am not an expert, so when it comes down to the taxes and everything, do not quote me on it. I am trying my best to do what I think is supposed to be done, so make sure you do your own research. It's going to be different for everybody, especially if you do not live here in the United States, because taxes are so different here. So first I'm going to show you the formula that I use, and then I'm going to break every single thing down so you understand why I use this formula, because it's going to sound downright crazy probably to begin with. So my formula that I use is minimum wage times 1.5 plus material cost, fees, and taxes will equal my total crochet amount. And the reason why I do this is last year my small business was almost deemed a hobby through the eyes of the IRS, and that's not what I'm here to do. I want my small business to be counted as a small business in the eyes of everybody, including the IRS. So I got to work and I tried to figure out what I did wrong, and I fixed it this year, and it has been amazing. So minimum wage, kind of self-explanatory. Whatever state you live in is what I personally do. That could be different for you. It doesn't have to be one minimum wage. You could charge $40 an hour because that's what you think your time is worth. That's what you do. Personally, for me, I charge minimum wage because I try to make things more cost effective for everybody, because crochet already can be so expensive. And my prices are still kind of high in my opinion, but if I go any lower, then I will be deemed a hobby instead of a small business. So minimum wage where I live here in California is $16. So I charge minimum wage for my labor cost, and then times 1.5 to get to the business cost would be just $8 adding into it. So it's $16 times 1.5, which would be about $24 in total. So I charge $24 per hour for all of my stuff, and that goes into labor cost, that goes into business cost. And now let's break that down. Minimum wage for the labor cost. Labor cost only includes the time that it took me to crochet. So if I sat here for 45 minutes and crocheted, went off for 4 hours, and then came back and finished the another 15 minutes to crochet, it was only an hour. It was not the whole entire time it took me in that day, if that makes sense. So I know a lot of people say, oh, something took me 20 hours to complete, but in reality, in that 20 hours, it only took you 4. You're only going to charge for that 4 hours. Pretty self-explanatory for the labor cost part of it. But now for the business cost, this is where I like to put in every single thing that I can. So any website fees, whether I'm not really too fond of Shopify. I use Square. I have the Square card reader, and I got the Square retail thing, so it was free. But Etsy is not free with their transactions. That will be in something else that is not going to be in here. So business ones would be if you have a business website that you have to pay for, or the gas to get to your markets, the tables, the tablecloths, the pins, retail bags, business signs, labels, business cards, anything like that will be a business cost. So when I go and give out my items, I am not going to make somebody pay for a retail bag, because I know here in California normal businesses do that. I'm just going to add it into the cost because it's only 10 cents, maybe 17 cents anyways. It doesn't matter. It's fine. All of that stuff, if I were to not charge for the business cost, would be taken out of my labor costs, and then again, in the eyes of the IRS, it will be deemed a hobby. So that's why I charge that. And then now into the next part for materials. The materials is kind of self-explanatory if you already know what they are, but if you don't know what they are, if you are brand new, your materials is everything that you are using for your business. So I crochet these baskets on the walls, not my material cost, that comes out of my business expenses. But all of the yarn, I know it's a mess behind me, all of the yarn is the material, the hooks, the polyfill, the safety eyes, the darning needles. No matter how many darning needles I go through, is a material cost. So anything that is going to help you make your item is a material cost, taxes and fees. So we're gonna do the fees first because it's a little bit easier. Like I said earlier, I have my Square card reader. So every single transaction I make, Square takes a percentage out of, and Etsy takes a percentage out of. 6.25%, and I say 25 cents because I can't remember if it's 25 cents for the actual listing or if it's for the shipping. I'm just gonna go with the higher one because it makes more sense to go with the higher one, you know what I mean? You also have to add in, if you were doing the Square reader, what Square is going to take out of it. I can never remember what they're going to take out. I believe it's 2.9%, so that's what I take out of it, is 2.9% of the total cost. So that is what I take out. It will be different for everybody. If you don't use Etsy, if you use something else, make sure you go in and double check what the fees are that are going to be taken out and add it to each item. And now taxes. Taxes for me is a little bit different, just because like I said, use the Square card reader. I have it set up to where they're going to be taking the state taxes out every single time somebody swipes their card. So I only add in federal taxes for my plushies, and I do not charge state taxes for cash. But wait, before you get on me on that, that is because I do not want to carry change around. If it's a $10 item and with just the state tax when they're swiping their card through, it is going to be about $10.80. I am not going to be carrying dimes and pennies and nickels around everywhere. I take that out of my business costs later on to pay for all of my cash ones. And I'm just going to kind of just like surpass that a little bit. That's just how I do it. If you want to break everything down and try to figure out everything every single time somebody's going to pay with the change and the cash and everything, like, definitely do that, but that's just what works for me. I just take it out of my business costs later on. And in the federal, inside of every single time I make a plushie, and I googled it. I don't even know if it's right. So again, like, I'm not a tax expert. Google said it is like 0.25% to 7.25%, so I just went to the 7.25%. So that is what I add into my formula cost, 7.25% of the total cost item. You're not doing it to your labor wage. Let's just have an example. This guy right here doesn't quite fit into the formula for the hours because it takes me about 45 to 50 minutes. It's not quite a full hour, so I don't charge the full $24 that I charge for mine, because here where I live in California, minimum wage is $16. So for the formula, it should be 16 times 1.5, which would be $24. But this doesn't take me a full hour, so I just like $4 right off of there, and it's 20 bucks that I charge to make him for the labor and the business cost. So now it's going to be $20 plus materials plus taxes plus fees. So now with the materials, you want to weigh everything out. So linked in the description below if you want to start like buying in bulk. My eyes are maybe like 11 to 17 cents per pair. Could possibly be 22 cents per pair, but like they are super cheap. So it's about, let's just say 22 cents for the eyes. After I weigh this out, total cost of everything, eyes, the yarn, the polyfill, everything, is about $4 to make this little guy. So we are at $20 plus 4. And now for the taxes, that's 7.25%. You're going to take the what you charge for this and times what you charge for this by the 0.0725. And so I charge $30 for this. So $30 times 0.0725 is about $2.18. So that's how much it is for federal taxes. Because again, when they swipe their cards, they're going to be paying state without me. Plus that $24 for the materials and labor fees, and then we are doing fees. So again, off the total cost, because that's how Etsy works. I run everything through Etsy, so it will be different for whatever you do. It's going to be different if you don't live in the United States. It's going to be different per state here in the United States. and it's also going to be different depending on what you sell on. I believe, I'm not very familiar with Shopify. I think it's a monthly fee that they charge, so like you kind of gotta like go with it with yourself. But with Etsy, they charge per listing, so it would be 6.25%, and then I add in 25 cents because I can't remember if 25 cents is for the shipping or for the listing, so we're gonna go with the higher one. $30 times 0.625%, because we're going with our overall cost times that percentage, is $1.95 plus 25 cents because of that extra little listing fee Etsy has. It is worth it, you guys. Hands down, it is so worth it. It seems like a lot. It feels like you're gonna become a mathematician, but after like doing it the initial time, you don't have to do this again for a while until you make something else and you figure out the price. Now, if you're using a card reader like me that is connected to your Etsy and it is a square reader, they're going to take out a percentage. I can't remember ever what it is, so I believe it's 2.9%, so that's what I went with. So 2.9% again over the total cost comes out to 87 cents. Now, adding everything together, we are adding our $20 for our labor fees, $4 for our materials, $2.18 for our taxes, and $3.07 for all of our fees, which is our Etsy fees and our Square Reader fees. Comes to a total of $29.25. So I used to charge $25 for this. It was selling so fast, I did not know what to do, so I'm like, I'm gonna up it this time. So this next market is going to be the first time I'm selling this for $30, and I know it's still gonna sell because it is totally worth it. It is little, but it is worth it because of the quality and everything. Plus here, when people go to markets, they know most of the time the effort that it takes for these things. So that is just how I charge. If you guys have questions, leave it below in the comments. Message me. I will also have my email because I normally only message on Instagram. If you don't have Instagram, you can email me. I will definitely respond back to you with any questions, and no matter how many questions you guys have, I will be also more open to making more videos like this. So if you like this video, make sure you guys hit like and subscribe, and I will be making more for you. But that is just how I personally do it. It does kind of feel like you have to become a mathematician for a hot minute, but after you do it, like, it is done. Like, you don't have to do it for a little bit, but that's just how I do it. I also do have something, I believe it's from Crochet with Bay. I don't use it just because I have my own little formula that's working for me, but Crochet with Bay, I believe, I will leave it comment like in the description below. She has a whole entire sheet spread that you can buy, I believe for like $15 or $20, that will break everything down for you. You just plug in stuff and then it will break everything down for you. I don't know how to change the minimum wage on there. I don't even know what it is. I have it. I haven't used it. I only plugged in one item and I didn't even finish it. Just because like my brain is just all over the place all the time. I could not keep it together. But if you need that, do that. If you like my formula, like, go ahead and use it. That is just how I personally charge for it. Just please make sure, if you are trying to do a small business, make sure you are having your business costs and your labor costs different, because the IRS is going to tell you it is a hobby if you are not actually separating your things. So thank you so much. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe and come back for more.